Well, welcome. Today's presentation is Shelter in Place, creating a safe place to protect yourself. If you have any questions along the way, please put those in the chat and we'll do a Q&A at the end. The speaker for CERT today is Clifford Chan. Hi, Clifford.
Hi, how's everybody today? I'm so glad you guys can make it. So, my name is Clifford Chan. I was born in San Francisco. I grew up in Oakland and I moved out to Martinez a long time ago, and I've been living in Martinez ever since. And I decided I wanted to give back to the community, so I joined the Martinez CERT group, the community emergency response team. And this is a way I can kind of give back. So we, as part of our group, we sponsor a 20-hour disaster service worker classes. And if you want it, they're free. And if you wanted to join us in the future, you can, I'll give you an email address. You can email us and you can become a disaster service worker. So without any further ado, I can just continue on the subject today, which is shelter in place. So typically in CERT, we, like most of us, are addressed and concerned with an earthquake or a wildfire. But today, there is one more thing that you have to be concerned about, which is a shelter in place. And this is a picture of the New Star refinery located in Crockett. It happened 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. And there was a shelter in place issued in this place along Highway 80. Remember that day? It was, for those of you that were here, they shut down Highway 80 and the traffic was just crazy. So there is a possibility of that, the shelter in place happening in Martinez. And if you look at the, follow my arrow, this is the formerly the Shell refinery. It's now currently called the Martinez refinery. And then there's one up here, that's the Shell refinery. Over here, to the right is the Tesoro refinery. It's currently called something else. And then there was a little small chemical plant right up here, right next to the bridge. So if you follow this main artery is 680, it goes across the bridge right up here above the screen. Right as you're driving north towards Benicia, you're looking off to the right, you'll see a bunch of steaming smokestacks. That is also one chemical plant that is potentially can cause problems. So along the yellow lines here are two railroad tracks that actually go through town. And there's actually one here towards Highway 4 that goes through town. It goes under tunnels, it goes through across bridge, and it continues on through town. So there is potentially a potential disaster in terms of sheltering in place. So here's one more thing, the pipelines. This is on our CERT website, martinezcert.org. It's on a map, and if you would click on this menu item, you can click on pipelines. So these are the pipelines that are going through town. And they're all, if you look at it, it's a crisscross, a network of gas pipelines. They push many products. There's jet fuel, there's crude oil, there's natural gas being pushed through there, and some of them carried many products, not all at the same time, but at different points in time. So you really don't know what they're actually carrying. And so you can take a look at this website again. Okay, so this is one of the ways that we're actually notified of what, if there's a disaster. It's a siren, and it's a big air raid siren. I don't want to really play this for you, but because it's super loud and annoying, but you can actually hear it the way it's being played on cwalerts.com here at the bottom of the screen. And another way for you to be notified is 740 AM KCBS. And that is, in fact, that is a radio station that we can all use in any emergency. like an earthquake or a wildfire. You can tune into this if you're in your car. You can tune into that on your cell phone. It's radio.com, and then look for KCBS radio. Another thing is on your TV. So you'll hear the emergency alerts. That is one of the alerts that can be issued. But in all respects, you don't really need to be told to shelter in place. If you see a very large plume happening at the refinery, you just need to shelter in place, and don't wait to be told to go inside and lock and closing your doors. Okay, so this is one of the things that I like. It's this website. If you sign up, and here's the website, it's cwalerts.com. It's written down here too. So in case there's a hazardous release or a wildfire alert, you can be notified on your cell phone and through a text message or a phone call or an email. You have all three of these choices, and you simply choose your language. It can be Spanish, and then click on this blue box here, and then you'll go through a series of questions. You identify who you are, and then when it asks for a phone number, put your cell phone number down for a text message. And it doesn't send you advertisements. It's sponsored by the county. And remember the PSPS events? They're called public safety power shutdowns. Okay, that's sponsored by PG&E. And the thing is that it shuts off all your electricity. So if you needed to evacuate when there is a power shutdown, there's no electricity in your house, this will be a method for you to be notified to evacuate the area. So it's pretty specific instructions: evacuate this area to this area, and it'll send you a text message on your phone. So this is a very important site. It's for wildfires, it's for hazardous release, it's for all sorts of things that are related to the community. And it's sponsored by the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department. So that's a good one to keep. Okay, so let's say you're notified that there's a shelter in place. So you need to get inside and close your doors and windows, turn off your fans and heaters and air conditioning and your ceiling fans, anything that moves air, and to have your radio or cell phone close by to you. And just in case things get worse, you need to identify an internal room, okay? And to prepare a seal room, maybe some masking tape or blue tape with you in case it gets really bad. Okay, so we say these things, to be prepared for a possible extended stay for several days or up to 2 weeks, and to prepare with some emergency supplies. So this is something you would do anyway for an earthquake, to carry some emergency supplies, like for water and some extra food. And it is possible that you can be sheltered in place for several days. In Canada, there was a train wreck. We have two railroad tracks coming through town. In Canada, there was a railroad accident, and it was carrying some Bakken crude oil, which was very volatile. So it crashed, and then it caught on fire, and it burned for 3 days straight. They didn't even attempt to put out the fire because it was just simply too dangerous. It was too dangerous for the firemen to approach the fire. It was too dangerous to put out the fire in case there was that the fire would continue on for several days and still become a danger. So this is it is possible for you to actually have an extended stay. Okay, so again, do not go outside and watch the big plume of hazardous release happening, and don't wait to be told to shelter in place. So at this point, I'm going to open up for some questions.
Yes, if you have a question, please enter it in the chat.
Well, we're thinking about this. I'm going to tell a little bit about CERT. So CERT is organized by volunteers, and we have extra. We sponsor the 20-hour basic classes, and then we also continue with continuing education. Well, we actually visited the morgue. It's a place that really isn't really opened up for the public. But once you become a disaster service worker, we do have tours maybe every 2 or 3 years that we'll actually visit the morgue. We actually are trained in traffic control. It's trained by a former police officer, Brian Lindblom, who was a former police officer and is retired now, and he's helping us out train. So you get to be trained by some of the best. And then we also have some ongoing classes. It's called CISM. It's Critical Incident Stress Management. It's an examination of post-traumatic stress syndrome and how people are reacting under certain stressful conditions and how to handle that. So it's very interesting. It seems like there's endless amounts of things that we prepare for. And I hope to see you in some of the 20-hour classes coming up.
Clifford, we have a couple of questions. The first one is, does the city of Martinez have an evacuation plan?
I know they're in terms of they are developing it in plans. There's a special software that they're looking into that will help in terms of organizing an evacuation. But as of now, there is not a real organized plan.
And the next one is, what mill of plastic should be used to prevent bad air from coming into a home or business? I assume it would be, let's see, able to put up duct tape. Is there another way to seal off doors and windows?
Yeah, wet. Sometimes people use a wet towel. Wet it under the faucet and stick it right under right where the door is, and usually there's a crack in the door. Or I keep a roll of blue tape around and would actually think about sealing it. Yeah, and we talk about sealing a room. There's sometimes vents, bathroom vents, that vent outside with a fan. You would actually close that up. In terms of mill, of the thickness of the plastic, it does not have to be super thick. It can be very thin. You can actually use saran wrap and some tape to tape it. It's any sort of physical barrier that can seal between you and outside.
And the next question is, how do we stay in our room protected for days we need to eat and drink water, etc.?
Yes, that's a good question. So we do prepare for emergencies in case of an earthquake for an extended stay. You need to have some supply of water and food, and of course bathroom facilities, and just to keep it handy and nearby in a place where it's not too buried in some other things. We all live in a very lifestyle that we gather a lot of things, so it should be accessible. So in terms, you should keep maybe about 2 weeks of what we learned from Hurricane Katrina. it takes a while for the federal authorities to actually reach you. So we do recommend a 2 weeks worth of food and water.
Okay, and that seems to be it for questions. Thank you so much, Clifford. We learned
You're
a lot
welcome.
today. It's nice having you here.
I'm happy to do this for you.
Yeah, we love it. We're so thankful.
So you can, if you have any further questions afterwards, you can email us at martinez.cert@gmail.com. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us today. This is our last CERT here at the library for now. And the library will be opening up April 26th or 27th, depending on the branch, for grab and go. So you'll be able to browse, but you can't stay for long periods of times and hang out. But we will be open to the public. So we look forward to having you. Well, have a nice day, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.